Good morning, everybody, and welcome to a Sunday sermon. I'd like to wish all of you a wonderful, happy Easter. Today is the day that we celebrate the resurrection of Jesus, and we are going to bring you a very special message this morning. Our Lord is with us, and who can be better than bringing you this message on this special day? So, Father, if you're ready, I am ready. Good morning, everyone, and yes, today is the day that you celebrate my resurrection. Now, exactly what was my resurrection? It was the day that I rose from the grave and turned into a light being and ascended into heaven. You see, all of you are going to ascend into heaven at some point as well. On your day of passing, you will. You will close your eyes for that final time, and you will ascend your soul into heaven. But you see, what I did was different. I changed into a form which would allow me to reappear, and I did. I told my disciples that I would return to them. They had trouble understanding what it was going to be. They had no way of knowing since no one had ever done what I did on that day. You see, I came back. I needed to assure all of my disciples that I was capable of doing true miracles. I wanted them to know that the energies of God are inexhaustible. I wanted them to know that I would do something that no one has ever done before and has never done after. You see, my resurrection was a new beginning. It was a beginning of me returning to heaven. All of you can resurrect your soul in one classic understanding. It can be your day of beginning. Every day when you get out of bed, you have the opportunity to begin anew. You can change your life for the better. You can decide to follow me. You can decide to love me. You can decide to tell others about me. Now, once you pass, it's going to be too late. You see, on your day of passing, the chapter in your book of life will close on this current lifetime. There will be no more you can do after that day. The difference was when I did it, I returned and I instilled the idea in all of my disciples that they had to spread my words and tell others of the miracle that they had seen. I returned in solid form. Many of them doubted me. They said that there is no way that they could be seen an individual that had suffered so greatly on the cross. But they were seeing Jesus. They were seeing an individual that was God incarnate. And because of that fact, that individual had the ability to do things that nobody else could do. I want all of you to think about reincarnating your life. I want you to think about helping others. I want you to think about a total new beginning. Many of you have done things in the past of which you're not proud, and that is typical of all humans. Do not get hung up on the past. Now, if you've been truly bad, you will be judged, but it can be offset. If you've earned great amount of wealth, make a conviction to use that wealth to help others. Promise to yourself that you're not going to do anything that you would not want done to you. You see, that's the key. That's what the foundation is. That is the teaching that you should teach to the young. The young today are struggling badly. Many of them are pulling away from organized religions. Many of them don't go to church. Many of them are being misled by their peers. The youth today are the leaders of the future. And if you don't have wonderful, inspired youth, you will not have wonderful, inspired leaders in the future. Today, there are many setting terrible examples for the youth. Your politicians. They cannot get along. They cannot make decisions. They think that they are all powerful. And believe it or not, some of your politicians believe that they are God. I can assure you that they're not. I can guarantee you that when they close their eyes that final time, they're not going to resurrect. They'll be going into heaven, that is assured, but they will be judged. You see, everyone is judged. The guides, the angels, they all come together to judge how a human lives his life. There's nothing better than what they could say is this human laid this great foundation of faith and used that foundation to help others. Yes, he had problems in his early life, that's assured, but he chose to help others for the end of his life. Now, no one really knows when your life ends. You may have a great sickness and be able to suspect that you're going to pass shortly, but no one ever really knows for sure the exact moment of passing. It may be today, it may be 30 years from now. That is the great uncertainty of life, and that is what should inspire you to do what you can each day for others. I want you to think about what I went through. I truly did die on the cross. It was a very, very difficult passing. There was much pain, there was suffering. But I knew that I had to do this. I knew that I had to die on the cross so that I could resurrect. You see, when I died, many people mourned my death. Many people thought that they would never see me again, that they would never hear from me. Even those closest to me had doubts that they would ever lay eyes upon me again. That's why I had to return. I had to show them that my promises that I made would be kept. Do you keep your promises? You should. You see, liars are terrible people. There are many people that seem like they cannot tell the truth. Sometimes I think that acquiring the gift of lying is a prerequisite for all politicians. Should not be that way. You need to teach the youth that truth will always be the best path for them. You need to tell them that love and truth. Show love and you will be loved. Tell the truth, and hopefully people will not lie to you. But if you tell the truth, you can always use that as a foundation. You've heard the saying, the truth will set you free, and that's pretty accurate. I always tried in my teachings to keep my words very simple. I wanted everyone that listened to me to totally understand what I was saying. My simple words have lasted for thousands of years. You will find that when you do not tell the truth, your words do not last. Because there's always somebody out there that knows the truth, and they will point out those words. Perhaps your personal resurrection simply means that you will tell the truth in all things that you do and help others. Everyone has the ability to change their life. The churches preach my resurrection, but many of them do not totally understand it. You see, I resurrected to set an example. I wanted to set an example for everyone that was to follow. I wanted to set an example of love, but I especially wanted to set an example that showed my followers that I had not lied to them about returning to them. Resurrection, that word is usually just about used this time of year when you celebrate Easter. Today, I'm seeing individuals commercialize Easter just like they have done to the day that you commemorate my birth, Christmas. Many people think that celebrating my death is a sign of weakness for an individual. It's a sign that they believe in mysteries. It's a sign that they believe in a lie and they celebrate a lie. I am not sure what more I can do to convince people that my resurrection really happened. My followers recorded it and they spoke of it. They were truly amazed by what I was able to accomplish. I came to my mother. I came to Mary Magdalene. I let Thomas see me. He was so doubtful. Thomas said that this could never be taking place. He didn't believe Mary when she came back and told him. But I appeared to him and I actually let him touch my wounds. I said, Thomas, I want you to know that I have truly returned. I want you to know that this is proof. What you are touching today is proof that I can truly do whatever I wish as God. But I only wish to do good things. I only wish to set wonderful examples for others. You see, I'm not returning to show hatred. I have no hatred towards those Romans. I could hate every man that participated. As they were driving the spikes in my hands, I told them not to fear, that they are forgiven because they are following their orders. You see, ask yourselves how many of you could do that. I know forgiveness. I preached it and I lived by it. When I died on that cross, I did not hate anyone. I loved everyone, even those that were laughing and jeering at my death. Because I knew I was coming back, I knew I was resurrecting, and I knew that I was going to show everyone the way that they can rebuild their lives. I was going to show everyone that things can change, the things that you've never imagined can happen. I wanted to show everyone that God is all powerful. You cannot duplicate the process of my resurrection even today. The energies required are not something you can comprehend. You see, I even left evidence for you. I left my image on the shroud of linen that covered my dead body. My soul had truly passed from my body. I watched as individuals covered my body. I watched as my mother had tears that were running down her face like never before. I watched Mary Magdalene. Her grief was inconsolable. I watched all of these things because my soul left my body just like every one of your souls will leave your bodies. The only difference is that I returned to resurrect my body like none of you may ever do. But all of you have the ability to speak of me, to speak of the sacrifices that I made, and I made them intentionally. Do not ever think that my life was not planned. I knew how I was going to die. I still went out and spread the words of faith and love. Even as I was nailed on that cross, I did not hate. I forgive and I love. That was what I did in life, and that is what I would love all of you to do. Today, I hope that you are celebrating Easter. I hope you're celebrating my resurrection. I hope that you are not simply saying the words, but living the words that you speak. I lived the words that I spoke. I truly did not hate. I truly love and still love all of you. I love those of you that do not even believe in me. I love those of you that speak against me. You see, I know your lives are very short and you will return, and your guides will tell you what need to be told, and there will be a time that you will return, and you will practice the lessons that you chose in your life plan. No life plan has hatred or violence or evil in it. That is all learned by humans. I truly lived a human life because I wanted everyone around me and everyone that would live lives in the future to understand that I truly loved everyone and wanted to set an example. I set an example that lasted for thousands of years. Many of you with great wealth, your names will be forgotten in 5 to 10 years because you are not helping others. Set up charities in your name and it will be remembered. Think of all the great people that have done things in my name and you still know their names. Think of people like Milton Hershey, Andrew Carnegie. They all did wonderful things for people, and we still speak their names hundreds of years after their death. If you do not help others, then you are truly ignoring the example that I set in my resurrection. Do not hesitate to speak my name to others. Do not hesitate to tell them exactly what I did in life. Because what I did in life is to set the example for each of you. I come to you and I speak to you many times. Many of you choose not to hear. Tell others of my words and tell others of the example of my resurrection. It is a time of rebirth. It is a time of change. and it is an example of how you should live your lives. So thank you for listening to me on this Easter morning. I know many of you are wonderful, wonderful people. Many of you pass on my words, and many of you truly love me, and I thank you for it. So, goodbye. Tell your family of me, of the words that I speak. Do not hate. Show love. Do not show anger. You will find that if you follow the example that I tried to set with my resurrection, that things will be much better for you. So goodbye, and we will truly speak again. Okay, everyone, that's about as good as it gets. Have a great Easter. Spend it with your family. Tell them that you love them. Speak of God and speak of all the suffering that he went through to reach this point. So goodbye. We'll be back again next week with another sermon. Our Father speaks to you every Wednesday morning on a weekly message from Jesus. Tell others. Thank you so much. Goodbye, and we will meet again.